Westchester Tournament of Champions, and this should be a fun one. We got Hex playing the 45s winter bracket game, and what you're about to see is Chicago 16-inch style softball. We do not wear gloves. 99% of what we do, 60-foot bases. You can lead off, you can't steal. 38 from the rubber to the point of home plate. 6-12 on the arc. We are playing open count because it's no glove. Pitcher gets a drag step, one step left, right, or back. Fences are about 300 feet. We got the wind blowing in. We've been showing you games this weekend with the wind howling out, and we've had a couple of 20-plus run games again today. So it's been a little crazy. Tomorrow the wind might be a gentle 7 to 9 miles an hour, but softball's been pretty good, and looks like Moneyline may have come back and beaten Wales 16-14. 10 deep and Flashback are on the other diamond. Flashback will be home in that game. 10 deep, as usual, took the visitor. They won the flip. And it should be interesting. Hex last night scored something like 56 runs in 2 games, but the wind was howling out. Now they got a different situation. The wind is blowing in. You might be able to see the bunting out there blowing straight in from left field. Anything hits center to the right field line is going to get pushed toward that right field line. And we are playing open count. I think I mentioned that. And this should be a good one. These two teams won 2 games last night, each of them. 45s were on this field, so they played with the wind blowing in, and they did a good job last night. So just trying to get something squared away there. Got to get my sweet buzz. So we are over here with the sun. So I don't know how long we'll be on this side because the sun does tend to create a little bit of an issue with the camera. So, Hall of Famer Larry Downs over here coaching first. It's good that the game still has a place for you, Larry. Of course, Larry, the ageless one, still runs like a deer. Was one of the fastest guys in the game in his day. Was a terrific player. So this is going to be a good ball game. Hex, of course, we've talked quite a bit with their pickups from Sauce, and they have integrated nicely. A lot of people think they might be the hottest team in 16-inch softball right now, and this will be a good test for this revamped Hex club. And, of course, Jimmy Moretti, who was on Hex the last couple of years, moved over to the 45s. And that's going to be very interesting. In fact, they got Jimmy hitting in the 5-hole. We're not used to seeing him there. Jimmy, not necessarily a power guy. So you don't normally see guys that cut and push in the 5-hole. So a little interesting. So Anthony Sanchez is going to be leading off here, just underway. We're going to take a game off. We'll be back at 7 for another winter bracket game. Last game tonight is 8:15. Sun has come out. It's warmed up a little bit. It was a little on the chilly side. Wind picking up. Sanchez flips it down the left field line. Fair ball. Ostrom gets her. Anthony stumbled a little bit, but he still made it into second base. And with the wind blowing in, that's what you got to do. He just threw a little line drive over to third baseman. And instant scoring opportunity here in the top of the first. Brings up Nate Mercado. Let's see if they play baseball and Nate comes to the right side here. They do got 3 infielders over here. So we've had a lot less dust today. They were able to put a little more water on it this morning with no threat of rain today. And he does come this way. Rory Oakley can't make the play. Sanchez is going to try it, and he'll score. So early lead here. Lead off double, Nate Mercado. And I used to tell my guys all the time, when you do the right thing, sometimes you get the bonus. And that's a good example. Rory had to go a long way. Beautifully placed ball by Nate Mercado, who has great back control. Greco couldn't get there. And here's Vince Acey. You might remember Vince. He started out on Players Inc., and then he went to Signature for several years, had a cup of coffee with Flashback, and he's been with the 45s now for, this is either his second or third year. And Vince has got all the swings in the golf bag that you would want. And there he tries to go deep. Ball's going to die in the air. There's a tag. Throw offline, and Nate Mercado, he tagged, took a couple aggressive steps, and he kept his eye on where the ball was going. That wind kind of pushed it toward the third base side of the infield. So 1 out, another runner in scoring position, and here's Scotty Vetter. And Scotty, little ground ball. Nick Castanos has trouble, and taking the turn and scoring is Nate Mercado. So the 45's been very aggressive. Had two guys at second. They both scored on infield bobbles. And I think Richie, just coming out from behind the plate, just kind of wants to settle down his infield a little bit. And that's going to bring up the aforesaid Jimmy Moretti. Now, the pattern that the 45s have had so far this weekend is they've jumped ahead early, and then they kind of sit on the number a little bit, and then when they get pressed later on in the game, they manufacture a little too high. Curtis will eat that up, and Scotty Vetter lost track of the outs, and you may have noticed there, it was already around second. When he realized he made a mistake, he was going to go back and have to tag second, and by that time he was toast. So big break there as Chris Lentine, a very good hitter, was on deck. So kind of a weird inning there. A little bit of aggressive base running, kind of getting the 45s in a little trouble there. And Mike Marola playing short center today. So this is how Hex is going to go. Curtis Ostrom, the straw. Even his guys are picking up on the fact that I always call him the straw that stirs the drink, and I guess that's how nicknames are born. Nick Casano and Al Rice. Anybody gets on, they'll be Mark Holstein. So in a game like this, with the wind blowing in, your defense takes on a little bit of an added importance. And a couple of bobbles there by the Hex infield. They would have scored one irrespective, but they ended up getting a bonus run out of it. So here's Curtis Ostrom. We'll probably see hitters be a little more patient today because it's open count. 1-1 a lot of times guys don't want to hit with two, so you'll see them go out there and start swinging at the first thing they see. And it is kind of tough on the pitchers because if you want to reach the upper limit of that 612, the ball will get blown around a little bit. And there's a little chopper. Mike Marola, and they nip him at first. So quick release there by Marola. He knew Curtis could run. Of course, Mikey used to be an outfielder by trade. Does a little pitching now. And for a guy that was primarily an outfielder, surprisingly solid as an infielder. So here's Nick Casanos. That pitch is a little deep. See, Jimmy went right back to the heavier pitch, trying to grab a strike, but didn't quite clear to the 6. found it. One of the best pictures I ever saw at Playing the Wind was Casanos. That ball was getting blown around, and Chuck Galdo danced with it but made the catch. So like I said, it's going to be important to see how Hex reacts to the wind blowing in, and I'll be honest with you, I picked this game because I was curious. So here's Al Rice. Of course, the best looking guy in softball over here coaching first, Joey Carbs. Al's a big, strong guy. Normally, Al is a line drive humpback hitter, and they're playing him still deep even with the wind blowing in. And in the Meatball City High Y game, Drew Chavarria, despite the wind, I think he hit 2 home runs in that game. And the Chicago Summer Series numbers are going to be inflated after this weekend, especially for teams that played multiple games on Field A, where the wind's been howling out all weekend.
There you go.
So,
I ain't seen it.
he just rang him up. Al Rice looked at him. He only had a strike. I think the umpire was used to the 1-1 count there, brain lock. He corrected himself, full count. And Al hits it off the end of the bat, a lot of English, but Chuck Regaldo hung right in there. So we're going to head to the second, 2-0, 45s.
Hey, big zero.
So let me rotate my head around and see what's going on. Looks like 10 Deep's got a runner at second with 2 outs. No score right now over there. It's been strange. We've had a few games in that A diamond today where it was kind of low scoring for 3 or 4 innings, and all of a sudden the back end of the game it just would blow up. And this is a good test for 10 Deep. No, this is not the championship game. The tournament's going to wrap up tomorrow. And it's going to be slightly warmer, I think, tomorrow. Not 100% sure, but it won't be as windy, and it's supposed to be much sunnier. So here's Chris Lentine. And Flashback gets through to the top of the first. They don't give up a run. They're coming to bat.
There you go.
This is the winner bracket game. Both teams, and there's a high pop-up, and Rory Oakrey takes charge. You can see that ball was hit so high, and they were all circling the wagons. Very impressed with the center fielder, Mikey Oliver, who actually had come down, but Rory took charge. And here's Adam Haas. And Adam has got sneaky power. If he hits something hard, and they're not playing, Al Rice is not playing him very deep.
I played a couple innings yesterday.
And he goes the other way, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Adam Haas.
Not bad.
So Flashback hitting in the bottom of the first, no score. And that's a good test for 10 Deep because they've been rolling up some big numbers, and now they're playing a true major team. Here's Mike Marola now. 1 out, 1 on. And Mike, a little cut. Ostrom makes a sliding catch on his knee, and then he rolled over to stay in play. Oh, now he's going to say he rolled out of bounds. They're going to give him second. Curtis doing everything he could. He's not arguing. I don't know if we got the tail end of it. You can see he tried to just do a roll, and they send the runner to second saying he carried it out of bounds. Now the rule is if you carry it out of bounds unintentionally, and clearly when you're sliding trying to make a catch, it's unintentional, you get one bag. If the umpire feels that you intentionally ran out of bounds or knocked it out of bounds, he could award 2 bases. So here's Danny Villarreal. So here's Villarreal. Danny, a jack of all trades, can play anywhere on the infield, and in a pinch, you can put him in the outfield. First time I saw Danny, he was playing in Harrison Park. He had a lot less mileage on him, and that ball's going to get blown way out of play. You can see a lot of the teams, Meatball City has advanced to Sunday. They're out here watching. You can see a good crowd out here today. A lot of the teams that have been eliminated have stuck around. And that's actually a lot of people watching this game. You would think more of them would be watching maybe Flashback 10 Deep, but I think that's the little bit of that major team, high A-level team bias where people just think the major team's going to roll. And these are 2 big boys, and Villarreal now Rice slides in and makes the catch to end the inning. So Danny tried to float it. The wind held it up just enough and looked like he took it above the collarbone near the Adam's apple. Right below the Adam's apple. So Al Rice, for a big man, he runs pretty good. He got there with a slide and a grab, and we head to the bottom of the second. And again, these 45s are notorious defensively. They just smother you. They just don't give you a lot of free bases. And if you're pitching for the 45s, whether it's Mike Marola or Jimmy or J-Rob when he's here, your job is not to give up any free passes and to try to get in the way of a few balls up the middle. So here's Holstein. I'm going to slide off this line a little bit. Mark doesn't turn and burn as much as he used to, but still hits a lot of real hard line drives. And again, we've talked all weekend, the outfields here really slope down and toward the foul lines. So a lot of times if you hit something in a gap, it will roll, especially down the lines. Now, the one thing about this park is their fence line is not very long. And there's a ground ball up the middle. Marola, nice hop, and he makes the play.
Hey, let's go, boys. Let's go. Hey, let's go, Rob.
So here's Rob Scahill. 4 up, 4 down so far.
Let's go, Frank.
And Rob, too, he's another kid. He's kind of a taller, slender guy, but he generates good bat speed, good hits. So he does drive the ball better than a lot of guys. And Rob has an absolute cannon. And he went for it. High ball blowing around. Isidro Di Santiago can't make the catch. And Rob will get to third. And I tell you, on Thursday night, that ball might have carried even farther. Rob barreled up pretty good there. Isidro got turned around with that wind up there. Got a couple of hands on it, just couldn't hold on. No, he's wearing 28. Or 29, excuse me. So here's Mike Greco now. Runner in scoring position. Good opportunity to break the seal here. And Mike is one of the really good young first basemen in the game. I think the first time we saw Mike was at the very first SSA Playing for Peace Class B National Championship. And he does drive the run in. 2-1.
Big run. That's
And it's real important with this wind blowing in. You just cannot leave any runs on the table. So here's Richie Battistoni with Mikey Oliver on deck.
go two here.
Hey, let's go. Best ball right here. 1-3. Best ball right here.
Of course, Steve Batnich, long time great pitcher with the Jinx, was with Flashback for a year to 45s. I believe he played on that revamped Cheeks team too. And Richie Battistoni dumps a hit, so he keeps the inning alive here with 2 outs. And that brings up Mike Oliver.
Hey, low and hard, low and hard. Ball, Rich.
Had no courtesy runner. Richie, like, I was going to call for the courtesy. I forgot we're in a tournament.
Hey, you can't do that because it's quick. I got you.
On deck, Rory Okray. And Mike Oliver down the line, but it'll be just foul. We don't have a great angle on that line, so I always sneak a peek at the hitter. If he's not running, you know it's going to go foul. Batter always tends to be the first guy in the park to know. So with 2 outs, Richie will be running on the swing.
Down and hard.
Base running with 2 outs is easy because you're just going when the ball gets hit. And that ball a little inside. And there's a hard ground ball. Mercado got a hand on it. Richie wasn't going to get to third anyway, but brings up Rory Okray, and Rory's been swinging the bat pretty good early in the season. Now the only issue you got here is the outfield is not playing very deep with the wind, so Richie needs to get a good secondary lead if he wants to score, and that's going to be up in the air, and Chuck dancing with it. That ball started in center and ended up in right center, but Chuck, one of the better center fielders in the game, hung right in there. It's always kind of fun when you got a wind like this in the sense that it'll gust and then slow down, gust and slow down, gust and slow down, and sometimes you get on a bad cycle where the wind always seems to blow in hard when you're hitting. You're always cursing the fact that the other guy comes up and the wind died for 5 minutes. So we look over at the Flashback game, 3-0, top of the second, Flashback leading. So here comes Isidro Di Santiago. Then it'll be Chuck Regaldo, and we'll be back to the top with Anthony Sanchez.
I thought you said you got a call. Like this late.
And I need to change my inning here to make sure you guys are up to date. So there's another example. Brian Sloan trying to climb the ladder. I was kidding some of the 10 deep guys that I thought that could be a high-scoring game, and that the game here on this field might end sooner, and I might catch the tail end of it. And if that happens, we'll certainly give you guys a little bonus coverage. So Isidro draws the dreaded leadoff walk. And I like this kid. He just goes about his business and still a very, very young player. He was on the Demons when they won the Class A SSA No Glove National Championship a few years back. So here's Chuck Regaldo. And that was a good pickup. 45s the last few years always struggled with outfield depth. So now they're in a little better position with Sanchez in left, Chuck in center, this kid in right, and they got Mike Marola, who's capable now of going out and playing the outfield as well. So home plate jumping around a little bit on Brian Sloan here. And Chuck tried, that's going to blow way out of play. That ball had no chance of being fair. And the way the bracket sets up, there's not much you can do with it, but teams that played early in the top of the bracket, losers bracket, had to play a third game to get to Sunday. The reward is they get to come back an hour later and play one less game on Sunday. Teams in the bottom part of the bracket had to play one less, and Al Rice, and the ball gets over his head, and that's going to be a home run. It will stay in fair territory, and two-run homer the opposite way. And folks, we're going to show you the replay on this. Take a good look at it. Oh, I got there late. Sorry, folks. But it slopes downward, and Al cut straight to the line, and that ball stayed up in the air, and it was over his head. On a level field, it would be a good route, but we mentioned this Thursday and Friday. This is a brutal right field here, left field on field A. Here's Sanchez, and he throws his second hit down the line. Curtis, though, got on it fast, holds him to a single this time. So because it slopes for drainage, as an outfielder here, you think you're going to be there, but you're running downhill. The ball is staying where it's staying. So big hit, Chuck Regaldo, line drive the other way. And now it's Nate Mercado. And Nate sweeps it. Rory makes a nice play there, but he does move the runner. And that's what the 45s do. They play smart, they play defense, and they make you have to beat them. So now with one out, Vince Sacy and Scotty Vetter are going to have two shots at it here. Unless there's a line drive double play. Sacy off a slog. And that's going to be first and third. Easy opportunity here for Vetter. Now, if you're Scotty, you just don't want to hit something hard right at an infielder to where they could maybe turn a double play. And Scotty's a big, strong hitter, a lot of pop. So we'll see what he does. Vince Sacy is a tall kid, long strider, a little deceptive speed-wise. And Vetter makes sure, and he pounds a hit in front of Rice. Sacy going to go to third. And the 45s have played it 3 here. And they take a 5-1 lead. Good approach. He was going the other way. And he made sure he elevated. Brings up Moretti. And now they're talking about, so V's going to go out and use one of his conferences. Gives us a chance to check out flashback hitting. Looks like they got a runner on third with one out, threatening for a lead. And Mike Myers drives it, and it's dropped by the outfielder. So Myers is on, and they pick up their 4th run of the ball game over there. So now we're back to our game. Jimmy Moretti in the box here. And Jimmy tried to go to right. That's going to blow way out of play. Normally I always talk about hitters letting the ball come down. Jimmy got it high enough, but he let the ball get too deep. If he goes out a half a click sooner there, then you can hit that line drive this way, but the ball got deep. Barrel lagged a little bit, and that ball had no chance at being fair. So we got a reset here. 4-0, flashback. Bottom of the second. And there's two approaches when the wind blows out. I talked with Bob Russ Jr. and Jeff Hernandez, who run that team. And, disclaimer, I was over there for a few years, and there are a lot of good friends on that team. But I asked them, because they got some guys that are pretty good, and they got a lot of lefties on that team. And Moretti, little ground ball, steps and throws, and that'll end the inning. So Jimmy Moretti made an easy one. Battistoni going to try to get his guys together here. And what Gibbs and Jr. were telling me was they told their guys, forget about the wind, just do what we've been doing all year, which is hitting the ball hard and hitting line drives. And they scored a lot of runs because a lot of your natural swing will take advantage of it. Sometimes guys try to force feed that. And I always thought when the wind was blowing out, it was like stealing. And we've seen that all weekend with these teams on that A diamond, really racking up some gaudy numbers. So it's going to be Nick Kimmer leading off. Then it'll be Brian Sloan in the top of the lineup. So the 45s right now, we're only in the bottom of the third. But they've pushed out to their biggest lead of the day here at 4. So that's inside. Now, if you're Jimmy, your team just took the lead. But one thing you don't want is to walk anybody. Kimmer, Moretti knocks it down. He stays with it, and he makes the play. Nicely done there. Let's see if we got it on the replay. And that was a very nice play there. Moretti got a big paw up there. And you see it there. Nicely done for the first out of the inning. Brian Sloan, a little spinner, and that's going to be out number 2. So here's Curtis Ostrom. And right now, Hexes, they don't look comfortable with that wind blowing in. They're actually playing Curtis kind of deep. And there he slashes it right over the bag off the third baseman. Curtis is going to easily make it into second. Scotty Vetter dove, got a hand on it. Then the ball popped up and rolled over by that short screen. Mercado got there, but nothing you can do. Again, these major teams are always thinking double out of the box. Casanos a chance here to cut into the lead. No, well, Israel has got a few miles on him. And Casanos, a little ground ball. Mercado, wide throw. Ostrom scores. Casanos stays on the bag. Uncharacteristic there. Nate Mercado had a little more time maybe than he thought. And just kind of hooked the throw there. No chance for Adam Haas. Now it's 5-2. Al Rice with a base hit. And there's a ball knocked down, and they get out of the inning. So Moretti got another paw on the ball, and we're going to head to the fourth, 5-2. Get through. So we're going to head top of the fourth. 5-2 game. So I'm going to take a break here. I'm going to grab a little water. And we're a little behind today. We had to do field maintenance, and we've had some long games, so including a 9-inning game. So Pharaohs are not playing right now. They should be up a little bit later. But this time slot and the next time slot are winter bracket games, so they're probably either playing at 7:15 or 7 o'clock or 8:15, I should say. Okay, so trying to explain the Pharaoh situation, I didn't get to my water, so I'll try to gut this out a little bit. Here's Chris Lentine.
Hey, Big Sir, here, let's go.
And it's 4-0. Flashback leading. It looks like 10 Deep is taking a conference, and that ball's going to blow foul. A lot of people hit that right into where the signature people are down there. So I'd like to thank Sweet Buzz, our anchor partner here for the Chicago Summer Series. If you're an adult and you use infused products, check them out. Grab Nick Drabel, he'll explain it to you. Nick, the short center for Moneyline. And there's a little flare, and Curtis Ostrom on the edge of the infield dirt bailed out Nick Kimmer, who turned the wrong way. And Curtis makes the catch. It brings up Adam Haas. Mike Marola on deck. So it was very interesting. I believe the last time Mike Slott came up, Danny, and there's a swing. Adam Haas' second hit of the game. He's wearing that center part of the field out. And here comes Mike Marola. So 1 out, 1 on here. Not quite at the halfway point of the ball game. And Flashback got a little threat working over there. And Marola walking the dog. Haas will make it to third. As Mike Marola, Rory Oakley just couldn't quite get there. You'll see here, Rory ran a long way, got a couple of 4 fingers on it. And good base running by Adam Haas. Had Rory made a spectacular catch, it would have been interesting to see about the potential double play.
Mikey, watch your flip.
And that brings up Villaria. So runners on the corner, 45's doing what they have to do. They're not really hitting anything well up into the air, and that ball's going to be out of play. We got a couple of iron guys. My guy Joe Welgos didn't even budge. See, the 45's always on point with their uniforms.
Good. Good.
And Villareal, high pop-up. Rory Oakley, and that ball just kept blowing. That is going to score, and good base running by Marola. He saw the fact that the wind was blowing that toward the screen, and Rory actually put his hand on the fence after he caught it. Mike's still very quick.
Hey, get the last one.
So 45's doing everything right. They're moving guys. They're scoring guys they should score in this game, and they lead 6-1. And we got a brief respite from that massive win right now. And the Sidro goes the other way. It's Curtis Ostrom making the catch. So halfway through, 45's lead 6-2.
Let's go, fellas. Let's go.
It's now 6-0 Flashback. Flashback. He's actually missing a couple of their better players today. So they're going to try to grind their way into Sunday. It's going to be Holstein, Scahill, and Greco.
Come on, guys. Come on, Keith. Let's kick for a while.
Gotta go, boys. Hold hard.
So if you're Hex, 45s are just kind of chipping away. Haven't had any big innings, but they just keep leaking out on you. You got to start swinging the bats a little. Holston goes the other way, and Sanchez makes a diving catch. So great job by Sanchez. Got a great read. And it's good to see Anthony moving. He had all kinds of leg issues at the end of last season. And you can see great jump, made the catch, little slide. And that's what the 45s do. They'll just smother you. Here's Scahill. Hit a ball over DeSantiago, and now he just guides it up the middle. Rob Scahill 2 for 2. And it brings up Mike Greco. So Scahill is telling Adam Haas, his last time up, he wasn't trying to hit the ball to right. He was trying to hit the ball up the middle. Worked out pretty good, though, as he ended up on third and scored a run. So here's Greco. Yeah, Malia, we're going to take a game off, and we'll be back around. And there's a base hit the other way for Greco. Scahill on his horse. Runners on the corner. So Mike Greco, and all of a sudden, a little more emotion out of the Hex dugout. Brings up Battistoni.
Hey, let it take what they get. Come on.
And now
Come on, Rich. Let's go.
Hex is getting kind of with the program here with the win. Back-to-back little humpback line drives. So here's Richie, singled his last time up. Base hit would be huge here. And that's inside with Mikey Oliver on deck. And Richie got that off of the trademark, and Anthony Sanchez guns it in, and that's a big out there. Again, we talked about you just can't leave any runs on the table. Makes it 2 outs now. So Mikey Oliver needs a hit or a safe on an error here in order to get a run in. And there's a humpback line drive, so big 2-out hits as he picks up Richie Battistoni, and they cut the lead to 6-3. And here's Rory Okrie. Well, Meatball City was very disappointed in how they played yesterday. I believe they lost to the Pharaohs. The Pharaohs beat them up pretty good. And they came out today, looked like an entirely different group. And Rory's sky-high pop-up, Villaria, they do scratch, they do put one on the board, 6-3, as we head to the top of the 5th. And looks like 10 Deep has scored a run, 6-1 now. Top of the 4th over there. So, good ball game here. A little surprised it's only 6-1 over on the other diamond, to be honest with you. Flashback is missing a couple of bats. 10 deep looks like they're fully loaded. And I think the only thing 10 deep is maybe lacking, because they certainly have talent, is they have younger guys. And, you know, they probably need just a little bit more belief that they can really play with the big boys. And once they get that, they could be a problem. But I like the group. I like what Maurice and Reggie are doing over there. So here's Chuck Regaldo, then the top of the lineup. And Chuck goes hard to right, and Mikey Oliver is there. And you can see these outfielders, especially in right, Mikey, a very solid outfielder, and they slid Donnie Sullivan into center. Now Anthony Sanchez has thrown 2 balls down that left field line. I always laugh. You see a guy locked in on a swing, and all of a sudden, a couple of hits, and then the next time they try to do something different. And he was trying to do something different. Well, don't worry, Amalia. I talked to Joelle today, and I said, if you guys don't get your shit together, she may disown you. Pardon my French. Kind of slipped out. Long weekend. So here's Anthony Sanchez. And Sanchez up the middle. He gets his 3rd hit of the ball game.
Hey, where are you twice?
They got one.
Well, feel free, Nathan. Come by the SSA tent. Say hello. So the winter bracket championship game tomorrow, I believe, is at 1:15.
Good.
And we're gonna be a little short-handed tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes. We'll definitely show you that game, and then definitely have the championship and the if game. And there's a little flare down the line, and that's going to drift out of play. So 6-3 now. Identical 6-3 scores. The game on field A is in the 4th inning. This game's in the 5th. And 10 deep still hitting. And there's a bullet. Fair ball down the right field line. 6-4. I think that was Bama Woods, but it rolled out of play. They may call that a ground rule double. If they do, that might cost them a run. Here's Nate Mercado, ground ball. Rory Oakley, they get the fielder's choice. Good hustle by Sanchez. I like the fact that he slid. And Anthony does a little field maintenance before he heads off. Thanks for helping the tournament, Anthony. So here's Stacey, 1 out now, runner on first. Oh, 2 outs? Oh, yeah, they were slow on the scoreboard. Hit and run, and Stacey delivers. She punches it into right field. Forget about Mercado. So the 45's pulling all the tricks out with 2 outs. And we told you, Stacey's got every swing you want in the golf bag. And 10 deep right now got something going, and it looks like a flashback player might be a little shaken up over there. Here's Scotty Vetter. So runner on first here with 2 outs for Vetter, and he hits it high in the air. Sullivan is there, and he ends up in right field as that ball kept getting pushed back.
Hey, we're all right. We need the bats going here, boys.
So we head to the bottom of the 5th, 7-3, 45s. And we hope the flashback player is okay. I'm not sure who it is. we're going to keep an eye on that, folks. So if I got a little dead air, I'm just trying to see what's going on over there. You never want to see anybody get hurt. I don't know if that is Mike Myers. Can't tell. And I believe that is Mike Myers, a little shook up. He's on his feet, which is a good sign. So here is Nick Kimmer leading off here. And Mike is walking around, so looks like he's going to be okay. He might have had the wind knocked out of him, not sure. But back to this game, Nick Kimmer. Kimmer takes that pitch deep. And Kimmer guides a hit up the middle. And Chuck Regaldo charged it like he had a thought. Like he might try to throw the ball to first. It brings up Sloan. Curtis Ostrom on deck. So they're about to restart over there. And that pitch short. 7-3. Hex has been and that pitch, play at first, not in time. Again, no stealing.
Good ears, Kimmer. 31.
And Chris Lentine's a left-handed thrower. So if you're a base runner, you got to know that. And Brian Sloan coaxes a walk. Trouble of brewing here as the first two hitters reach. Top of the Hex lineup, Curtis Ostrom. And now they're going to pinch run with Brandon Bartleman. Again, Brandon, a young outfielder that Hex is trying to bring along. Good range in the outfield. Good instincts. Still working on mastering the hitting standpoint. And you can tell he played baseball just by the way he's setting up here.
Hey, let's go, Kurt. Now you kid. My Kurt.
So 6-4. Flash got out of the inning, but a good one there for 10 deep. We'll see if that game blows up. And home plate jumping around just a little bit. And Curtis got it off the handle. And Chuck Regaldo, strong arm, little offline. And again, Curtis can go the other way here in a game like this. And Curtis, I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to hit a line drive into left center, which is where he goes a lot of times when he's looking for a big double or triple. This weekend they've been home runs. So here's Nick Casanos. And Nick goes the other way, and as Sidro makes the catch, he'll throw it in. Now runners on the corner. So that's a perfect example. Had they moved the runner on the previous hitter, they would have had a run. Now it's up to Al Rice to try to pick up his two teammates here, find a way to nudge a little closer. And Israel Sanchez out for a meeting. Izzy knows that Al Rice is very dangerous. I don't think they would walk him with Holstein on deck and push another runner into scoring position, but he probably told Jimmy, you know, don't throw any meatballs. If you walk him, it's okay, but let's see if Al gets maybe anxious and gets himself out. That's probably the way the conversation went. And that pitch was deep. See Jimmy going to third, trying to keep him from getting his arms out. And that ball was deep and outside.
Al, get your pitch, kid.
I've seen a lot of pitchers, they'll throw an obvious ball early in the count to get the hitter to relax where they can sneak a strike in, and that's a little bit there. I think Al was thinking he won't pitch to me, and Jimmy just threw kind of a meatball. Well, a lot of guys do it because they have a tendency to put their hands on the ground when they slide, and I think Jimmy caught a break there as Al Rice ends up popping up. So we're going to head now to the top of the sixth. Golden opportunity there with the first two runners getting on, and Hex doesn't do anything. And that's been the difference in the game. The 45s have been, so they put Donnie Sullivan in defensively for Al Rice, and Al re-entered the game. So if Donnie went back out there, Al would have been out of the game. So we are in the top of the sixth. Meanwhile, 6-4, bottom of the fourth, flashback 10 deep. So this game moving a little quicker. We might get a little bonus coverage. But getting back to the base runner wearing gloves, some guys have a tendency to put their hands on the ground behind them as they're sliding, and then you get that road rash. So some guys will put the gloves on just to protect their hands. So it's going to be Jimmy Moretti leading off, be followed by Chris Lentine and Adam Haas. And Moretti, hard ground ball. Kimmer with a nice stab and strong arm. That was a nice play. That ball was almost behind him. And he reached down and plucked it, rotated the body, and threw a strike. So Nick Kimmer. Here's Chris Lentine now. And Chris, a little dump. That's going to be at least two. Oliver gets to it. So Chris Lentine threw it out toward the alley. Gets rewarded with the double. It brings up Haas. They haven't had an answer for him all day. And flashback, Brian Kearns looks like he's just hit a two-run homer. And it's 8-4. Well, I think it's a two-run homer. No, it was a three-run homer. 9-4.
Good start.
So flashback after 10 deep tightened up the game. Answers with a quick three spot over there. Here's Adam Haas.
Hey, you're all right, Flo.
And Haas, a little ground ball. Rory Okray makes the play for out number two. So Rory, good job there. He charged it, and he got it on the belt tie hop. If he'd have waited, I don't know if they would have got Adam out, and that ball usually will flatten out on that second hop and skip. So he read it right, got the right hop, and here's Marola. So you're struggling offensively. If you're Hex, you need to get out of this inning. And Marola, but Scahill reaches up and grabs it. And we are now going to head to the bottom of the sixth, 7-3. Hex got a little work to do. So I'm going to grab some water, folks. I'll be right back.
Right now.
So Holstein, Scahill, and Greco. I would think if Mark gets on, I don't know if they got anybody on the bench to run. Maybe Tommy Cortlett or Eric Netzilla. They've already used Sullivan in Al Rice's slot. And Holstein, a little miss hit, but it's going to hang in the air. And a lot of the Hex guys seem to be hitting the ball below the trademark. And I talk all the time that as a hitter, you got to know where the barrel of the bat is in relation to your hands. And a lot of guys they're so hung up on trying to fully extend their arms that that's what happens. And Scahill off of Moretti, he's not going to be able to make this play as the ball that time just kept inching away from him. And I think Mike Marola was telling him he was over there, he would have had it. I used to tell my pitchers I'd rather have you go for everything than not. And that's going to happen a few times a year. They're not playing yet. We're a little behind. We had to do field maintenance, had a couple of long games. So you can just check our Game Changer page. The easy way to get to it is right at the top of our Facebook page. I pinned a document, and there's a link there to go to Game Changer. Or you can go to SSAsoftball.com, and there's a scoreboard rhythm right at the top of the page that you can keep track of the games. And we'll get the live bracket updated after this game. Here's Greco. Oh, I think the umpire gave him that. That looked like it might have been a little flat. And Greco, little ground ball. Villarreal, steady as they come. It does move Scahill into second. But again, at this point, if you're Hex, you're not looking to necessarily move runners. What you're looking to do is string some hits together. So it's up to Battistoni, and Mikey Oliver is a good, solid player. Richie, a little more advanced as a hitter. You do have a base open here. And they're really trying to move Isidro in, and Richie can go. He's got some pop. You don't want to take all your outfield angles away. They're playing them deep on the right side, 3 players. So here's Richie Battistoni trying to pick up a 2-out RBI. And Richie, a little chopper to Vetter. And I like what Scotty did there in the sense that he caught the ball moving to his left, but he took a little crow step and got himself aligned and made a good throw. A lot of third basemen will continue to move towards second when they make that play, and then they can't get their arm through and it lags, and they end up throwing screwballs over here. So that's a good job. And I tell you, Scotty Vetter's been one of the better pickups as we head to the 7th inning this season by anybody in the offseason. And he's been a rock solid for a kid we hadn't seen in 3 or 4 years. Played with Avalanche, and I'm trying to remember Elite and Avalanche when Dave Tenza was running those teams. So 9-4, and they're heading to the bottom of the 5th inning in the other game. So Joe Pauly taking a swing here, trying to figure out who he's hitting for. Isidro is on deck, so he's hitting for Villarreal. And there's a off of Brian Sloan. Looked like Nick Kimmer was going to maybe make that play. And Brian reached out and kicked the ball. Now, I didn't want my pitcher kicking the ball.
Hey, make sure I want him.
Because that's what happens. I don't mind if they think they can catch the ball. Here's Jeff Mastari, not in the lineup in this game. Jeff did. So I'm not sure what's going on. I know a few weeks ago I did a game in Melrose and he tweaked a finger. I don't know if that's still an issue. Nothing's taped. So here's Isidro. And I got dance with the coach. And he tries to go the other way. Long run. Ostrom makes the catch right above the carpet. And Mastari, a long strider, easily into second. So we'll see if we got a replay on that. Curtis Ostrom covering a lot of ground today out there. And he literally caught that right above the carpet. So here's Chuck Regaldo. And Mastari will score on a base hit. He runs well, and he's got long strides. It's a good combination. I wouldn't know. I'm 5'7" and a half. So 7-3, top of the seventh. 45's looking for a little insurance. And Chuck shoots it up, and it hits the base to boot. Mastari's in. So base hit there off of the base as he shoots it up the middle. You can see that ball. Once it hit the bag, there was no chance you were going to have a play at the plate. And here's Anthony Sanchez. Got to move over here. Jockeying here with Larry. Yes, he was an outfielder for many, many years. Sanchez, and that ball dies on Al Rice. Chuck will get to third. Runners on the corner. So Anthony pulled that ball. Might got it toward the end of the bat, and that thing just died. Looked like Al was going to get there, and it dropped in front of him, and Al Rice is walking around muttering to himself. 45's 8-3, looking for more with one out. And now if you're Nate Mercado, you need to make sure you get at least one in here. And Nate just going to go short, and that ball is going to drop. Another run scores. So Nate didn't hit it well, but he threw it out in right field, and the wind just knocked it down. Big insurance run here, runs here for the 45s. And again, they're doing the right thing, and they're getting that bonus I always talk about. Brings up Vince Acey. Vince got a little, it looks like a, what do the kids call that? It's not a mohawk. Would that be considered a fade? I don't know what that is. He's got the shades on. He looks like the coolest cat in the park. So runners on first and second. 9-3 here. 45s. And Vince Acey pounds it through. Sanchez will score. Mercado is flying. He's going to score. And the 45s have broken it open here in the top of the seventh. So again, we told you that 45s have played their first two games of the tournament here. And I wanted to see how Hex was going to react playing with the wind blowing in. And like I said, sometimes your default thought process is we got to hit the ball a little harder. but that doesn't necessarily work in the wind, and they're kind of over swinging, and that's why they're not barreling up. So here's Vetter, runner on first now. Scotty tries to go big. Rice goes back. He'll make the catch. Stacy will get into second. That's an example. Al Rice has a good arm, and he was throwing it towards second, and the wind blew it almost to the pitcher's rubber. So here's Jimmy Moretti now, chance to pick up another run with a 2-out base hit. And Moretti tries to cut. Scahill makes the catch. Do or die, bottom of the 7th. Hex needs 8 to tie. 9 is a walk-off, anything less, and the 45s will advance to the 7 o'clock game. So we're going to have again, I say 7 o'clock, folks, but we're running behind because there will be 2 more winter bracket games, which are, I want to say, the 5:45 games. This is technically the 4:30 game. But we got nowhere to be tonight. We're glad you're tuning in. Meanwhile, Flashbacks opened up 10-4 in the bottom of the 6th. Or top of the 6th, 10 deep hitting. And there's a ball pounded, foul down the left field line. If it was fair, would have been a problem. Anthony Sanchez high-fiving a few kids down there, making friends. And the reason why I'm planning on doing the 7 o'clock game is because we always have so much equipment we got to pack up. And it allows me to get everything squared away for you guys at the end of the night so you can have everything current. Oliver toward the gap, but it blows right back to Chuck. And that'll be out number 1. And Eric Netzilla gonna come in here and take a swing for Rory Okray. Nick Kimmer on deck.
Call there.
If I'm sniffling, I apologize. I've been breathing in dust for 3 days and my sinuses just acting up. So here's Eric Nidzella. It looked like Eric was maybe going to try to walk the dog down the right field line there as he went down in a crouch, but pitch was a little low. So the 45s. And there he punches it right at Chuck. 2 outs. Nick Kimmer, last hope to keep the game alive here for Hex. And it looks like Flashback hitting in the bottom of the 6th. Up 6.
Go, Ted.
And the umpire's done a pretty good job. This is a tough game to try to call balls and strikes on. And really, that a couple of hitters have shaken their head, but. And Kimmer knocked down by Marola. He'll get his second hit of the ball game, as he does put it on the next guy, which is Brian Sloan. The top of the Hex lineup on deck, chomping at the bit for an opportunity here. Again, Hex needs quite a few base runners. And that ball hits the plate. Again, the loser of this game is not out of the tournament. This is double elimination. And I'm not sure if any of the teams that lose in the next two rounds have to play later. And there's a flare. Joe Pauly puts it away. Very workmanlike effort by the 45s as they came out, executed some timely hits, some good defense, and they win the ball game. We'll rotate over and catch the end of this. And now looks like Shane Lawler just hit a ball that skipped into the gap, and he ends up at third base with one out. So Flash threatening to put another run on the board here. And so we'll see if we can slide by. Excuse me, young man. Let me slide through here. Thank you. So 99, Will Ross, part of the SSA broadcast team. He had a white sweatshirt on, didn't want to get it dirty, so he... And here's Mike Marasovic. And this is probably going to be a roller, and there it is. And that's going to score another run. Good execution. And there's not much you can do there. Now, when Jeff Hernandez was the lead guy here, whenever they put the hit and run on, it was a verbal. Gibbs would just yell, go, and the runners would take off, and Gibbs would do pretty much the same thing you just saw Moji do. So here's Brian Kearns. It's now 11-6, bottom of the sixth. And Kearns and Fisher can't get there. There's my guy, Bobby Rush Jr. And Flashback right now in control of this ball game. Little bonus coverage. And Kearns takes that pitch inside. Looks like JoJo Reynolds on the hill. Again, we weren't here, so I don't know if JoJo started on the hill. JoJo getting off that hill. And Kearns base hit. Cliff Wingfield gets it in. And it brings up PJ Raines. Gotta zoom out a little bit or JoJo keeps jumping out of the view. So a little bonus coverage. March and Fat Kids are going to be playing in the 5:45 game. No, I take that back. I think Signature's playing the Fat Kids.
Let's go!
And I'm not sure who's on this diamond. Pharaohs are on this diamond. And they'll be playing March. Rolo, I'm going to be taking a game off. We'll be back for the 7 o'clock game, which is obviously not going to start at 7. Then after that, we'll be packing equipment up. And I got to check on my tablets and make sure the scorekeepers are good to go. And there's a high fly ball. That's going to end the inning. So do or die, top of the 7th for 10 deep. They need 7 to keep the game going, 8 to take a lead. Anything else and Flash will advance to the 7 o'clock game. 10 deep will not be out of the tournament, as it is double elimination. Yeah, like I said, I picked that 45's hex game because I'm always curious how a team reacts when they've been playing on a diamond all weekend, wind blowing out, and then the wind was blowing in, and looked like Hex struggled to make the adjustment. 45s, that was their third game this weekend with the wind blowing in, and you could tell they kind of figured out what they needed. So here's Bama Woods, and he takes that pitch a little bit deep. And there's a strike. And now on this field, the bunting isn't moving much. Flag's not quite blowing out. And Bama Wood stays hot. And you can see that big slope. Ryan Russ was tippy-toeing, making sure it didn't take a crazy hop. And again, see, this field is the same way, the way it slopes down. And we saw a ball go over Al Rice's head earlier. So I got another wandering coach. So leadoff man on here for 10 deep. And they've rolled up some big innings earlier in the tournament, so can never say never. A little inside. So now Mike Marasovic does throw a knuckleball, and sometimes that time he threw regular. And nice play there by the second baseman, Scotty Vickers. Climbed the ladder. We told you it looked like Mike Myers may have got dinged up. Vickers comes in, and Mike Myers is on his feet over there, but I see he's grimacing. So nice job by Vickers. And here comes, I believe this is Latrell Giles. I'm so used to seeing Latrell with headwear, didn't recognize him. And there's a bomb. Ryan Ross he got to it. Ryan Russ sliding down the hill, got two hands on it. Wind was helping him, and then it popped in the air and he made the catch. So a great play to end the ball game. Okay, folks, we're going to click off. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back later in the evening. We'll see how the schedule drops. We'll try to pick a game at 7 to show you. So on behalf of SSA Broadcast, thank you, and we'll talk to you a little later tonight.